wow, what's happening? This is the Road to Rip podcast. We're having a ball together. I'm here with my man, Tom Ness. He's a great guy. What's happening, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. I only hope that people watch the video for this episode so they can see your face when you were doing that.
Oh, man. That was my Owen Wilson. I've been working on the Owen Wilson accent.
That was good. That was good. I'd keep working on it, but that was good.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I want to basically install like an Owen Wilson accent onto my GPS. So every day I'm driving, it's like Owen Wilson talking to me.
Don't
Dude,
even lie, dude. You're gonna
cool.
record yourself doing Owen Wilson, and that's gonna be on
I
your
will I
GPS.
will record everything that's like integrated into a GPS with Owen Wilson.
So back to the episode, right?
Back to
Because
the episode.
there's
Okay.
Owen Wilson on this episode of Road to Ripped.
Yeah, this is not to talk about Owen Wilson. This is the 5 keys to effortlessly build a shredded beach body, which is really cool because getting in great shape and enjoying it is really the motif of my approach of Kinobody. Because getting in great shape if you hate life doesn't really make any sense.
That's right. Well, and keep in mind, so time frame wise, we are approaching beach season. People want to drop the last few pounds. They want to start. This is, let's face it, summertime's coming up. This is the period of time where you gotta, you may be in a situation where you have to take your shirt off. And when you take your shirt off, is there going to be, some packs under there, or is there going to be some rolls? What you do right now in these critical few months, starting right now, is what is going to determine what you look like when summertime officially hits. So that's why we want to talk about the 5 keys to building an
Yes,
effortlessly
that's
building a beach
that,
body.
that's well said, Tom. Exactly, exactly. I mean, ultimately, like
While
we
I'm here.
want to we want to just have the confidence to go out to like pool parties and just walk around town. It's hot, you're probably wearing shorts and a tank top or something. We just want to look good, and we want to have that chance to like rock that lean, chiseled body. And recently, I did a post about this actually, and like your face, as you drop body fat, your face gets so much more chiseled. It's really cool. But
Awesome.
let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about today. This is based off a post I wrote on Kinobody, and this is also based off my aggressive fat loss program, which is extremely effective. I've already had tons of transformations come in the last, well, pretty much since like 30 days after I launched it. Because Tom, we have that email. We automatically send an email 30 days into the program asking about how people's experiences have been, what's going on, what's happening, and like on average, people are losing 8 pounds to 10 pounds the first month. Although we got one transformation just recently, and he lost 14 pounds of pure fat the first month, and he did the body fat test, and he didn't even lose a pound of muscle, which is really cool. Because my experience has been that like fasting helps you preserve muscle because you get that period every day where you're maximizing fat burning, and then you get that period of overeating where you can like replenish your muscles and go into a state of anabolism. So that actually helps preserve muscle, interestingly enough. But let's get into the 5 keys before I just talk all night.
Actually, dude, let's do some shout outs, because we've had, now here's a cool thing. So what a lot of people don't know, and we should probably do a better job of putting this on the site, is that almost on a daily basis, we get emails coming into Kinobody with transformations, or just with like, some people send in their before and after pictures, and that's totally cool. We get those at least every week, sometimes several times a week. But without fail, we always get reviews about, from your courses, and, it just case studies and testimonials from people that are like, dude, I've been following this for the last month or so. I lost this amount of weight. I lost this percentage of body fat, whatever. And I think that we need to start shouting these people out, because like they're out there, they're putting in the work, they're getting crazy results. And I want to share that with everybody. So
I agree. Okay, so recently there was one from Cody. I kind of alluded to it. For privacy purposes, I'll just say his last name is B, Cody B. And so he actually, I just want to give him a shout out. He actually, in 1 month, went from 184 pounds down to 171 pounds. So that's 13 pounds of fat loss. And he was the person I was saying he tracked his lean body mass and he maintained all of his muscle. And what's pretty crazy is that like he was really enjoying it. He was like, he lost 14 pounds in a month, and it wasn't even hard for him, which is pretty cool. Because if you can enjoy it, then you can maintain a lean body for life.
Yeah, which I mean, so it's kind of like an oxymoron, right? Like a diet program that you enjoy, because most people associate a diet with, or even fat loss with, misery. You know, they like trudge through like being hungry every day and starving themselves and doing like hours and hours of cardio and everything. And when you can enjoy it and you get results like that without feeling like you're starving yourself, that's the holy grail. That's all anybody ever wants, right?
I mean, that's to me, a successful transformation is one that actually works. You made the progress and you enjoyed it. If you made the progress and it was really miserable, then that's not a successful transformation in my books. And so actually, when I posted Cody B's results, someone commented and he was like, "Yo, don't use this program." I read this. I'm like, "Wait, what? What? He hated my program? No!" And then I kept reading, and he said, "Don't use this program unless you're prepared to buy a whole new wardrobe. I lost 28 pounds in 12 weeks, and none of my suits fit me. Still have another 10 pounds to get the six-pack. But let me tell you that I am never hungry and enjoy the process thoroughly. Thanks, Greg." This is from Mark To Obsess. He's on Facebook. This was a post on Facebook, so it's totally legit. You know, it's totally legit. And so that's crazy. 28 pounds in 12 weeks. That's nearly 10 pounds a month. And he was never hungry and he enjoyed the process thoroughly. Very cool.
It's awesome. And again, so these are case studies from people that are following the aggressive fat loss program, obviously, but we're going to lay out kind of the hallmark, like the staples of the program in this podcast. So whether you have the program, if you don't have the program, I'd obviously check it out. It's Kinobodyfatloss.com.
Yeah. Kinobodyfatloss.com. That's basically the page where you learn everything about it. I explain what's it about. I'm not going to pretend it's for everyone because there is intermittent fasting involved. So you have to learn to go without food. But when you follow the steps in the program, it's actually really easy. It's like that's why we have these hacks we're going to talk about in this episode.
Right.
There's two more case studies we could talk about, but like one is from like shouts out to Nick B. He totally did 6 weeks. He went from like 13-14% body fat down to like 8%. He totally killed it. He was also doing the Kinobody cardio ab mobility course, which is basically like a bonus to aggressive fat loss. You have the chance to upgrade. And so once he started adding the Kinobody cardio ab and mobility course, that's when his results went through the roof, which is basically the last 2 weeks. You guys can check this out on Kinobody. And then there's one more from shit. What's his name? I forgot to say his name.
What is his name?
Okay, but basically he didn't take a before picture, but in 2.5 weeks he lost 3 pounds, and he said it was effortless. It's on my latest post. But anyways, point is like this. Hey, I wouldn't be at like 8% body fat consistently if it wasn't for this diet strategy. It just makes eating at a deficit so easy, which is basically the main point of the 5 keys to building an effortless or to achieving an effortless beach shredded body. Is that the main point is if there's fat to lose, and most of us, we have fat to lose, most of us are not walking around under 10% body fat. It's learning how to eat at a calorie deficit. That's what creates fat loss. Anyone that's watched my videos, read my articles, listened to my podcast, they understand this. Fat loss is a calorie deficit. And funny enough, there's a lot of diet gurus going around pretending that calories don't matter. Calories don't matter. That's like saying energy doesn't matter. It's an absurd statement. And what's interesting is that no one argues that if you eat a ton of food, you're going to gain weight. It's kind of accepted across the world. We know, oh, you're eating too much, you're going to gain weight. And yet people will argue that, oh, if you cut your calories, you're going to gain weight. Like that's what some people will say. That's what they're trying to project onto you. And it's completely untrue. And one way to just know this for certainty without having to get into the research on this, because every single study shows that in controlled studies, when food is accounted for, people will lose weight. If they're eating less calories than they burn, they will lose weight. And then if you look at prison and stuff like that, and go back to prisoners of war and all this stuff, when people weren't fed, states of famine, people lost weight. I mean, that's what happens. But the idea is to make losing weight really easy, to make hitting that calorie deficit really enjoyable, simple, and easy. so that losing weight just is on. It's just automatic. It's like unconscious. It's effortless.
Mhm.
So, bam, there you go. All
It's
right.
awesome.
So Tom, what's the first point? The first key?
So the first key is to, well, so now if we're taking the keys off of the, basing these off of the aggressive fat loss program, which is really the easiest way that people can actually lose fat and make eating in a deficit easy, it is to eat 2 meals a day, or to learn how to eat so really learn how to eat 2 meals a day in a way that that keeps you full and satisfied, to where you're not feeling like you're starving yourself.
Right. That's exactly it. If you can learn how to eat 2 meals a day, you'll never have to struggle with weight gain or weight loss again. Like you'll never have to worry about gaining weight. You'll never have to worry about like trying to lose weight. Learn how to eat 2 meals a day, and this is so easy. You can go out to client dinners or big family dinners or dinner dates and all that. You can, during the holidays, you can go on vacation and you can not even have to track calories and macros. And if you're eating twice a day, it's really hard to screw up. Because like me, for example, I'm an average sized male. I burn probably 2,600 calories per day. For me to gain weight, I have to eat meals that are bigger than 1,300 calories. That's a lot of food. That's like 6 slices of pizza in a meal. That's a lot. That's like Chipotle with like triple meat, tons of cheese, big servings of rice and guac. Okay, that's a lot of food. And so
Well, let me ask you this: why would, so now a Hallmark? There are ways that make eating 2 meals a day enjoyable, especially for this program, and especially if your goal is for fat loss. That said, why 2 meals a day? Like, so why? So I would imagine, just listening to this, I'm like, why in the hell would I only want to eat 2 meals a day? So why 2 meals a day? What's the benefit of eating 2 meals a day? And how is it? How can you even stay full? How can you stay satisfied?
Okay, good question. Well,
Right.
first of all, because when you eat 2 meals a day, you can eat really big meals and lean down. I can eat 1,000 calorie meals and drop body fat. That's fantastic. When you feel fully satisfied after eating on a diet, it takes the grind out of it. It's like this amazing experience that really very few people that are trying to lean down actually get a chance to experience. But also, when you do 2 meals a day, you get to exploit intermittent fasting because there's not really a way to eat 2 meals a day without fasting. Like my preferred strategy is to eat lunch and dinner and take out breakfast. Say goodbye to breakfast. What that does is when you wake up in the morning and you're not eating, it accelerates growth hormone, which helps helps improve fat burning, fat mobilization. Because when you don't eat, your body has to tap into stored body fat for fuel. Plus, the growth hormone has a muscle preserving effect. And so, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to intermittent fasting. The research is clear on this. It might even have life extension benefits, neuroprotective properties. It helps with focus and all that. So it allows you to intermittent fast. And so to make intermittent fasting really easy and 2 meals per day really easy, I really recommend people drink coffee. Coffee's a health like elixir. It is really like the research on coffee shows indisputably it has benefits. It may even save your life because a lot of times coffee drinkers have less chances of various illnesses than non-drinkers. And I actually quoted some studies in the article. But the point is if you drink coffee, then fasting's really easy because it blunts your appetite, boosts your energy, and that's all pretty sweet. So the key is only drink coffee during that fasting period. People make the mistake of they eat their first meal, they have like coffee in the afternoon. Don't do that. The key is to maintain sensitivity to coffee. So only drink coffee in the morning. What's more is I would also say, if you can, hold off from drinking coffee right away. So if you wake up, you're not that hungry, then just drink water or so for the first hour or two. Then when you want that appetite suppression, then drink the coffee. That'll just make it easier. That's one of the tips. Another tip is strategic fruit snacking. So if you're eating 2 meals a day, and you start to get hungry a couple hours before one of your meals, have an apple. An apple actually does a really good job at staving off hunger. It replenishes liver glycogen. Apples are really filling. They're satisfying. They're crunchy. They got fiber. And so if you actually add 2 apples to your diet every day, whenever you want them, like it makes eating 2 meals per day so easy, because then you don't have that long gap between eating. So like, let's say you wake up at 8, okay, and your first meal is at like 1 o'clock. You might have an apple around noon. Then you might have another apple around like 6 or 7. Then you might have a big dinner at 8. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't feel like you're eating just twice a day. It just makes it simple. These strategies are so simple, but they work so friggin' well. Like, they work so well. Like, you're gonna go and try this, and then you're like, wow, oh my God, eating at a deficit is the easiest thing I've ever done now. Wow. Like, some people are gonna like watch this podcast and they're gonna want to nominate me for a Nobel Prize.
So let's actually recap, because there's what the basis of the program, well, the basis of this dieting strategy is to eat 2 meals a day. So you have your huge lunch or dinner, and then you have a smaller snack, or two, or a big meal.
Well, actually, see the approach that I use with aggressive fat loss is to make one meal really big and the other meal kind of moderate or smaller. That makes that puts you into an aggressive deficit, which just it's foolproof. Like, you do that and you're not gonna not lean down. You get one really big meal a day, one more moderate meal, and a couple apples, and fat loss is so easy.
Awesome.
Which is different than my warrior shredding program, which is more of a slower cut. You're eating like 2 pretty big meals and then 1 small meal. This is like aggressive fat loss takes it to another level.
Awesome. So then to actually lay it out, because instead of just talking like the theory behind it, what I want to do is actually like lay out, give people steps. So in an average day, what it looks like is if you're following intermittent fasting, which, I mean, it just following the fasting, strategy for, man, a while now, it is like, I'll never do anything else, because like once you learn to function without eating breakfast and just fast and drink coffee in the morning, it makes eating, there's like no better way that I found to eat at a deficit and enjoy it. So I'll say that. But so what you do is, so you push your first meal back later in the day. So throughout the morning and early afternoon, you have coffee. Then you break your fast with a big meal, and then you have a smaller meal later on in the day, and you punctuate the 2 intervals with an apple as a snack.
Yeah.
So it would go fasting window with coffee, big meal, apple, smaller meal, possibly an apple later.
Yeah, that's bang on. That's exactly right. And some people, like, you can do it either way. Like, you can do the smaller meal first and the bigger meal at night. I've done both. What I used to really like doing the small meal first, so I could eat a really big meal late at night. But then I found that I just preferred to break my fast with a huge meal, because then the rest of the day I felt awesome. Because here's the thing: if you're fasting for a while and then you eat a small meal, you might still feel a bit hungry for the next few hours. But if you break your fast with a big meal, then the rest of the day you're cooked, you're good, you're satisfied. Then you have that small meal at night. So, which is sweet. Like, so I mean, a big meal just might be a big ass serving of lean meats, some veggies, and like some delicious potato wedges. Oh my God, it's so good. And then later in the night, you could have like an omelet with some berries or something, like, or you could have like I love making cheese quesadillas. Just it's like so simple. It's like so simple. Like, because that's like, dieting is really hard when you have to like manage like 5-6 meals a day, and then the shakes here and that, and then this and that. It's like, dude, fast, eat a couple apples, have one meal you just love that just satisfies you, and then maybe have like an omelet with some berries or a sliced banana, or have, if even simpler, have a big tub of cottage cheese. Or, like, there's the different options, and it's just the easiest thing ever. And it might take someone 3 days to adapt. It might take them 6 days to adapt. But once you adapt, it's almost like your body is programmed to get lean as shit. Some people feel like, oh, I just can't lean down. My body doesn't want to lose fat. I seem to fight against getting lean. Do this, it will feel like a switch has been turned on, like the fat loss switch. But not to oversell this. This is just my experiences and everyone that's been like doing this. This is just the feedback I've had.
I think another part of it too is that a lot of people tried different diets, but they haven't really they haven't tracked what they've ate effectively. And so when I think when people typically, when I see people that have a problem with fat loss, they're not tracking adequately. And B, they're overestimating or they're underestimating what they actually eat through not tracking it. So I would challenge anybody that actually has a problem with fat loss or thinks they have a problem with fat loss to be extremely diligent for like between 1 to 3 weeks with tracking your food. Download an app. Like, I have my Fitness Pal on my phone. I mean, it makes tracking a breeze. And what I've even done is I plugged in a few meals that I have like over and over again. And I've pre-plugged everything in. So when I go and I have lunch, I make the exact same thing for 2 or 3 days out of the week. Go and hit that in one click. I add all the macros for the entire meal. It's really easy to do. But track what you're eating for an entire week.
Yeah, that's I'm so glad you brought that up, because some people are like, oh, I don't have to track everything all the time. Once you make that meal, you have the macros, you have the calories. You don't have to track it again. So if like you're having 2 chicken breasts, cooked with like a few teaspoons of oil, and 2 medium-sized potatoes with like made however you want with some butter, whatever, and you figured that's 900 to 1,000 calories. Well, then you don't have to track it again, because you know. So have your 2 chicken. You just do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like check it though. I'm here. Here, I'm gonna sign into MyFitnessPal. So right here, you can't see it yet, but I have 749 calories left for the day.
Nice.
I've had lunch. I've had a snack. I even had I had a serving of the sea salt potato pop chips.
Oh man. Okay, I'm waiting for Pop Chips to sponsor me. I swear to God, I've sent them so much love, and they just turned their back to me.
Dude, if Pop Chips and Quest sponsored you, I think you would probably die a happy man.
Yeah, I mean,
pass out, man. You'd retire.
Seriously.
You'd be at the top of your game.
All I want them to do is like be like, yo, check out this guy, like Gregor Gallagher. He will teach you how to eat Pop Chips every day and lean down, or how Pop Chips are a great diet food. Or to like that would be like, I don't want your money. Just like maybe throw me some exposure, because I can teach your audience how eating Pop Chips can be the best thing ever. But no love, you know.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like I love them. But so what I do is I track everything, and so I have 700.
We'll make Kino chips. We'll make Pop Chips better. Kino chips.
Done. Done. But I'm telling you, man, like it's so easy. So like there's really no excuse for this. And so going back to the original point, if you think that you have a problem with fat loss, I challenge you to very, very diligently track your calories for between 1 and 3 weeks, to verify that you are eating in a deficit. And when you track everything, when you're accountable, and when you actually eat in a calorie deficit for a prolonged period of time, you will see the weight begin to fall.
But bam!
There's no doubt about it. And you'll finally like be able to prove to yourself and debunk all these bullshit diet plans that are coming out every other week. When it comes down to the bare essentials, the number one factor in fat loss is a calorie deficit. If you are burning more calories than you're consuming, and you have a net a deficit at the end of the day, that's what matters for fat loss. And the only way that you can actually prove that to yourself is if you track everything that you're eating and actually stay in a calorie deficit for a long period of time. I mean, that's the easiest thing that I know to do. And once you do that, you'll actually see the pounds beginning to come off, and it's going to be a very noticeable difference after between 2 and 3 weeks, as evidenced by all the case studies that we receive on a weekly basis. So that's what I got.
Bam!
So that's point
cool.
1.
Let's like jump on to point number 2. We'll see if we can finish all these points. But the point is this is based on my program Kinobody at kinobodyfatloss.com. I've actually started the first ever exclusive Facebook group, which has like almost 100 members now after a couple days. Which I'm basically answering people's questions, and we got some sweet stuff going on there. It's so freaking cool. But that's just for people that have the program. Otherwise, it'd be too many people. But the second point here is not to obsess about protein, which sounds crazy because a lot of people just promote this idea of eating very, very, very high protein. And the reality is that once you learn how to eat 2 meals a day, you don't need that much protein. Partly because one of the main reasons for eating high protein on a diet is because it will fill you up. But when you're eating 2 meals a day, you can eat big servings of protein, and you'll be so full, but your protein levels won't be that high. I actually recommend people leaving more room for fats and carbs on a diet. Going low fat or low carb on a diet is a bad idea, or just in general, because fats and carbs both play a very important role in hormonal production. The research is very, very clear on this, but if you actually go higher in protein at the expense of your carbohydrates, your testosterone can drop 30%. Even the testosterone gurus don't even look at this. They just think, oh, testosterone's all about fat. Eat a lot of saturated fat and stuff of that nature. But the carbs actually trigger insulin, which counteracts with cortisol. So it helps actually put you into an anabolic state. So carbs are really important on on a diet if you want to maintain, testosterone. Also, carbs help trigger the release of neurotransmitters like serotonin and tryptophan or whatever. But these help you these support a good positive mood. So people that really don't eat many carbs, a lot of times they have a horrible mood. A lot of times that they turn into psychopaths. It's a real thing. A lot of psychopaths are low carb dieters. Google it. I'm just kidding, but the point is like, if you eat 2 meals a day, you can eat tons of fat and carbs and still get a good amount of protein. Still have a good amount of protein for each meal. So I've had great results.
What kind of split would you recommend then? What's optimal?
Like I would say, 30 to 35% of your calories from protein on a diet, and then about 30% of fat, and then about like 35-40% for carbs. That's what I believe is optimal. Like going low in fat, like some fitness dieters, they like to go. A lot of the fitness people, they either like to go low in carb or low in fat, and it's really crazy because when you go low in fat, it's really hard to eat out because when you eat out, food tends to have fat to make it taste good. But also when you go low in fat, it's harder to stay full on a diet because fat really triggers, triggers fullness. You don't need a ton of fat. Like I'm not saying eat tons and tons of fat, but like my thing is like have a balanced meal. So if you're having chicken breast is very lean. So you add some fat to the chicken breast, like cook it with some coconut oil. Make some potato wedges with some oil, so then you get the balanced amount. Mm-hmm. If you're having like a steak has already a good amount of fat, so don't eat French fries because French fries has a lot of fat. Maybe have like a sweet potato just with cinnamon or whatever. So balance out your fats and whatnot. But so the point is don't obsess. Here's a question I get that I want to address right now. Like, Tom, you've probably seen these emails all the time. Someone's like, Greg, like I'm totally full right now, but I still have some macros left. Do I force myself to eat them? And I say, no, don't worry. The whole idea of these macros is to make you as full as possible. So dieting's easy. So if you're already satisfied, then don't worry. You don't have to finish them. It's not like you'll just lean down faster. And eventually your body might start to adapt and your appetite will ramp up when you're on a cut. And then just eat your macros. But if you're not hungry, don't force yourself to eat them. That's how you get your body more in touch. That's how you get more in touch with your body to make fat loss easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that is actually that's a problem that I run into a lot as well. So like right now, like I said earlier, I have 750 calories for the day, knowing that my dinner is probably going to be about 500 to 600 calories. Just like based on what we have, what we're going to be making tonight. Let's say it's 600 calories. This is already calculated off of a deficit. So that means for me to stay within my target deficit, I'll still have like between 100 to 200 extra calories for the day, which if I'm feeling dangerous, that might be a Corona Light. I don't know. It could be, it could not be, but.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
But the cool thing is though, that if I do want a Corona Light, I'm probably going to have one just because I can have that Corona Light and it's still totally within my macros. So not the whole, like if it fits your macros, go ham and have a Pop-Tart, but I can fit one of those in every now and then because I'm in that much of a deficit because of these eating strategies. So
yeah, that's good. And see, and for your dinner meal, like you probably already had a massive meal, so you're probably not even gonna be starving for that dinner meal. So like eating 600 calories isn't even a big deal at that point.
Yeah, man. Dude, my lunch. So I had a potato and a half, like 1.5 russet potatoes. I had 10 ounces of ground turkey, and I think a 1/4 cup of just shredded cheese over the top, which it was huge.
That sounds epic.
Yeah, it was delicious too, seasoned up with paprika and cumin, and it was delicious. But but that's a cool thing. So like you can have these huge satisfying meals, but at the end of the day, you're still in a net deficit. So it all works out.
But bam, let's go to point number 3. We're gonna fire off these now. So the third point, which actually kind of flows nicely, is to focus on eating foods that satisfy you. So what I recommend people do is on a diet, make it as easy as possible. If you're only eating 2,000 calories a day, find the foods and meals that keep you the most full. For most people, that's going to be lean meats. That's going to be some little bit of fruit, like apples are great. Some veggies. Veggies are very filling. Potatoes are are probably the most filling carbohydrate. Potatoes or some pop chips, whatever. Rice isn't that filling. Pasta's not that filling. So I recommend people focus their carbs on potatoes and pop chips and stuff like that. You may even want to find some dessert foods that you find you can easily fit into your calories for the day. For me, I actually find chocolate to be very satisfying and filling, believe it or not. Cookies, no question, like no. If I eat a cookie or 2 or 3, I'm gonna want to eat the entire bag. Like I can't fit cookies into my macros because there's no end to that. But I can have some chocolate and I'll be like, boom, I feel amazing. Frozen yogurt is also really good, a lot lower calorie than ice cream. So it's easy to eat frozen yogurt.
So here are my dessert strategies. So I have 2. First of all, there's a brand of frozen or a brand of ice cream called Arctic Zero, and it's 150 calories for the entire pint.
Whoa.
Think about that.
That's so cool.
150 calories for a pint of ice cream, which is like, I mean, you have to for me, it's 2 servings. For me, I'll have I'll have half, and then my wife Emily will have half.
Calories. Does it taste good?
It tastes decent enough to do the trick, because at the end of the day, you just want some little sweet, little chocolate in there.
And there's something to say about a food that takes a long time to eat.
Yeah.
If you finish like 400 calories in 2 bites, that's not that great. But if you can finish 400 calories in 15 minutes, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, not at all. So Arctic Zero, I think probably any major grocery store out there. So that, or what I love is I have cottage cheese, either half a cup or 1 cup servings, and I put PB2 powder in there, or PB2 chocolate powder. Mix it around, and it's like, so PB2 powder is like, it's powdered peanut butter, and with the chocolate in there, it tastes absolutely delicious. And it only adds another 2 tablespoons of the PB2 powder with chocolate, adds another 45 calories. So your half a cup of cottage cheese with that is like 125 calories, and it's filling, it's delicious, it's everything you want and more, and get the protein from the cottage cheese. So delicious.
There you go. So like, yeah, I mean, you guys don't have to eat like different meals every single day. Like if you find stuff you like, then just make your life easier. Now,
set yourself up for success. That's like, find what you like, find what works within your, find what works for you, and then just eat those every single day. Like eat them. The biggest thing for me is everybody thinks that you have to cook new meals every day, and it's like this super hard challenge just, hitting your macros every day. Find a handful of meals that you like and make them every damn day, because you know what the macros are, you like the meals, and then, just switch them out every week, or have like 2 different ideas for lunch. Have 2 meals that you cook for lunch that you know your macro count for. Have a few different dinners, just like alternate them. So you're not like, you're not cooking like separate meals every single day. But it's also, it makes the tracking behind it almost effortless.
Yeah. Okay. Point number 4. What's the 4th point, Tom?
Be a minimalist in the gym.
Yeah.
Big one.
See, the problem is that a lot of people, they go on a diet and they want to start working out all the time. Like, oh, I'm going to lose these 20, 30 pounds. I need to start all this workouts. And the problem is if you're already eating at a deficit, like if you have your calories dialed in, then what's going to happen is if you do an excess of exercise, it's going to make you really hungry. There's some of the research supports this. The thing is like, if you're someone that just eats whatever they want and then you exercise, it's not going to really change your appetite that much. It's only when you're trying to get lean, when you're eating, you're cutting your calories down, that any exercise you do is going to ramp up your appetite to a certain extent. So I actually tell people to go to the gym, lift hard 45 minutes 3 times a week, and on the rest days, get some light exercise. Go for a walk for an hour. Walking's neutral on the appetite, actually. So anytime you overdo that, like if you're doing more than that, you're going to make yourself hungrier. Dieting's going to be harder. You're going to deplete your willpower reserves. And then when you can't stick to it, okay, because we're only human, when you can't stick to some impossible exercise plan, you're going to drop off, and then you're going to feel like shit, you're going to lose motivation, and then you're going to be like, oh, I screwed up my workout plan. I'm just going to take this week off and eat like crap. And all of a sudden, you're spinning tires. So all you need to do to build a great physique is to lift hard and intensely 3 times a week and focus on getting stronger, and nail your nutrition down. If you want to do more, then let's get some walking down on your rest days. And that's everything you need. Doing more than that is actually going to slow your results down, because it's harder to make progress when you're doing too much.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And so that brings us to point number 5, which is to stop. I'm changing this. Stop caring so much.
Stop caring so much. I think Tom meant to say, don't give up. Because, and this is critical. This is a huge point. Yeah. People that want to get lean, they just obsess about this goal. They just want to get there so bad. And they just chronically think about it and all that. And then it makes it so hard. when you're obsessed with getting lean, it just makes everything really hard. So the whole idea is stop, like, get your training down. Focus on hitting your workouts when it's workout time. Focus on hitting your nutrition. But when you don't have to think about it, don't think about it. Go on with your life. Relax. Be at ease in this moment. Don't worry, okay? And a lot of this is just learning how to accept yourself now. Learning how to give yourself permission to be happy now. Because if you tell yourself you need to get to this goal before you're happy, you're going to hate every minute of it. So stop caring so much. Accept yourself now. Be cool in this moment. And work towards improving yourself. But that's it. Like, stop caring so much. Let all this stuff fall into the background of your life and have fun, you know? But the worst thing you do is just to stress about getting to whatever your goal is all the time and just thinking about it all the time. It's just going to make the process go so slowly. You're going to kill yourself.
Yeah, well, I think it produces anxiety. I mean, there's so many negative, so many negative aspects to projecting happiness into the future. But when you stress about something and when you associate a level of happiness or a level of success with a future event, and by that I mean, like, when I get to 9% body fat, I will be happy. Or like, I won't look good until I get to 9% body fat. Something like that, it's first of all, it's bullshit, because you should be happy with yourself right now. Everybody has weight that they probably want to lose. So don't think that, like, all this, it's not like you're going to step on a scale, you realize that you're like 9% body fat, and then like life is going to unfold. It doesn't happen like that. And so you can't associate your happiness or your sense of self with a result that is in the future, because what that does is it takes you, I mean, this is totally, I mean, you've like harped on this enough, but just to reiterate it, what that does is it takes you out of the present, and in your mind, you're already in the future, which means that you're totally like, you're not present, and so you're not enjoying the present. And how that relates to dieting is when you think that you have to achieve this certain result, or you have to get to this point to be, fitter, or to be more successful or happier. What that does is when you screw up in the present, like if you eat like 1 calorie over your maintenance or your deficit, you're going to stress out about it, because in your mind, like, that's taking you farther away from the result that you're not even to. And so it just produces stress, anxiety, and it stacks and it accumulates, and all of a sudden, like, you're just like this stressed, like, tightwound person that's not even happy, because in your mind, you're so far away from where you want to be, where you associate being happy with. So stop doing that. Learn to accept yourself for who you are and where you are, and realize that it's a journey. And all you have to do is focus on taking the next step towards that journey, or on that journey every single day, and making every day count, and realize that, like, that you can be happy right now, you can be successful right now, and it doesn't require having a six-pack to do it. So,
bam, that was so well said. I love that, Tom. That was perfect.
Life lessons right there, man.
That was sweet, dude. This, I don't know if I have anything to add. That was bang on. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, that was. I'm just kind of like, I'm just marinating with this for a second, but yeah, Tom just said it perfectly. That's exactly it. Learn to accept yourself right now, and the journey, the adventure. That's the beauty. The adventure is the beauty. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like the hero's journey. It's just adventure. That's what you want. So enjoy it. Enjoy the adventure. That's what there is. Because when you get to your goal, you only get to your goal for that one moment. I got to my goal. That's a moment. So if you're just obsessing about that tiny moment, then that's gonna be gone, and then you're back to being unhappy. It's like, what's next? So this is the beauty, the adventure. So yeah, enjoy it. And then, like, yeah. Cool, those are the 5. So the first one was learn how to eat 2 meals per day effortlessly, use some strategic coffee, throw in a couple apples. The second one was to stop obsessing about protein and macros, eat balanced. That will just make everything easier. The third one is focus on eating filling, satiating foods. Find the foods that make eating at a deficit really, 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 really easy. The fourth point actually was be a minimalist in the gym. Hone your training down to the essential. And then the 5th point was to stop caring so goddamn much. Enjoy your life, accept yourself. These 5 tips will make life so much easier. It will make achieving a lean, chiseled body effortless. Bam.
And so if you you actually have, what was the report that you have? It's about how to set your calorie deficit.
No.
What should people get? So if someone wants to take the next step, they listen to this, it resonates with them, like they want to take the next step, what should they do?
Well, I wrote how to do the calorie deficit on a post called Low Calorie, the truth about low calorie diets. But what I would say right now is that I'm actually doing I'm doing Project B Trip right now, which is very cool. It's the first time I've ever done this. Basically, what I'm doing is I've started a Facebook group, which is just a exclusive Facebook group. We got about 90 members in there right now, and people are posting their pictures, their stats, and the goal is to get totally beach ripped. So I'm in there answering people's questions, helping them out. People are supporting each other. It's this beautiful, close-knit community, and this might be the first time I do something like this for basically for a no. Basically, all you have to do is if you get my aggressive fat loss course, you'll get an invite to the group. And so I want to keep it streamlined and focused. So if you guys want to get beach ripped, I would go to kinobodyfatloss.com, learn the full-blown approach, and then you'll be able to go into the exclusive Facebook group, which is awesome. I don't know. This is like I might even have to close the doors if the group gets too big because I only can answer so many questions. And right now I'm getting a lot of notifications and answering questions all day, but I don't know if we surpass a certain amount of members, it might be too big. So I would say try and get in sooner than later.
Awesome. And so just to clarify, they get into, so first of all, obviously if fat loss is your goal right now, there's no easier way to do it than with the aggressive fat loss program. So if that's something that you resonate with, if that's what your goal is right now, I'd recommend checking it out at kinobodyfatloss.com. And once you buy that, you will get, you'll have a link in the members area. There's a link to actually join the Facebook group, and then Greg can approve you, and you'll be in. You'll be with a group of other like-minded people going through the program at the same time you are. So it's our community for it.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And yeah, in the members area, you're getting basically the main guide to aggressive Kinobody aggressive fat loss. You get the full-blown workout program. We got a lot of stuff in there. The mindset guide to becoming present, being able to accept yourself now, which is pretty sweet. Some drills to do on that. There's a lot in there. It gets deep. And then plus I'm adding some sweet bonuses to that as well. We'll also got an Excel spreadsheet to make all this easy, so you can track so it'll set up your macros automatically, set up your calories automatically, and you'll be able to track your key lifts. It'll show you exactly what your goal lift should be, and then you can track the progress. And it's the Excel spreadsheet I'm super excited about. One of the members from the Facebook group actually made it for me, so that has been awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed those 5 keys to effortless fat loss. If you want to get beach ripped and join the Project Beach Rip group, then you know what to do. Kinobodyfatloss.com. Get the program. I can't spoon feed you everything. Get the program, and then you can be part of the Project Beach Rip group. So,
awesome. All right, cool, guys. Thanks.
Anything else to say?
We'll see you on the next episode of Road to Ripped.
Yeah, cool. All right. Take care.
Bye, guys.